You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White sports fans, we're going to be talking about Warriors head coach Steve Kerr in this video. As you guys know, there was a mass shooting at a school in Uvalde, Texas yesterday. And it's actually not that far from where Rhodes actually lives. It's very, very tragic. Very tragic. Now, there's people out there in the sports world that have actually made comments about this. LeBron James came out and said something. But Steve Kerr, he made a blatant partisan statement. And he pretty much, put the blame on Republicans. This guy, Steve Kerr, man, is not very smart whatsoever. Guys, I've said it many, many times. Steve Kerr, he wants to really take away your constitutional right to bear arms. These people that are leftists, they want to do that. But what he said yesterday, man, was completely ridiculous. Let's jump into this. It's pathetic. Irate Steve Kerr blasts Mitch McConnell and Senate GOP on opposition to gun background checks. Ladies and gentlemen, the young man that actually killed all those people in Uvalde at an elementary school, guess what? He's a criminal. Criminals actually obtain their weapons illegally. A background check wasn't going to do anything. But let's listen to this moron, Steve Kerr. Okay?
In Southern California, and now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there.
Now, I agree with that. I am tired of, these condolences. I really am. And in case you guys don't know, Steve Kerr's father was actually assassinated, I believe, in the 1980s, if I'm not mistaken. But let's move on.
I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough. There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this, to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today? We can't get numb to this. We can't sit here and just read about it and go, well, let's have a moment of silence. Yeah, go Dubs, Come on, Mavs, let's go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go play a basketball game. And 50 senators in Washington are going to hold us hostage. Do you realize that 90% of Americans, regardless of political party, want background check, universal background check? 90% of us, we are being held hostage by 50 senators in Washington who refuse to even put it to a vote, despite what we, the American people, want. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
This guy is a complete idiot. Steve Kerr is a complete idiot. Now, NBA game is going on, and people just want to tune into the NBA game. Everybody's aware of what went on with in Uvalde, and basketball is supposed to be an escape. But this is the stances that the NBA has taken. They don't want it to be an escape. They want to make blatant political statements, and Steve Kerr is right up there at the top. Folks, background checks already exist for a weapon. You uneducated people may not know that, but they already exist. And criminals don't follow the law. It is just that simple. Check this out. Remember this Sacramento shooting? That was in the People's Republic of California, who has the strictest gun laws in America. And 6 people died. I believe 12 other people got injured. California's gun laws did nothing. Why? Because the man was a criminal. Now check this out also. This is from Dan Crenshaw. I got a lot of problems with this guy, but he actually does address HR 8, which Steve Kerr was actually talking about here. So this is going to enlighten you a little bit on gun laws, background checks, and he does make some good points in this.
In Congress, we are debating a bill called HR 8, the Bipartisan Background Checks Act of 2021. It sounds reasonable enough, right? Not exactly. First, background checks already exist for most gun purchases.
Facts.
But this bill would implement universal background checks. What does that mean? Well, in some states, you can privately transfer your gun to someone else, a neighbor, a friend, a family member. Maybe you let someone borrow your gun to go to the range or go hunting. Gun control advocates don't like this. They claim this causes more crime. And at first, that might seem to be the case. But multiple studies have failed to find a causal relationship between universal background checks and reduced homicides. And why would they? When you really think about it, who is going to follow this law? Well, law-abiding citizens will. They will have to make a trip to the gun store just to borrow or trade a gun with a friend and pay for a background check.
In other words, it's just giving the government more power over you. And we know that socialists, they want the government to have more power over you.
Ask yourself this. Will criminals do it?
No, of course not. They're
In
criminals.
fact, it's already illegal to knowingly transfer a gun to someone who can't legally possess a weapon. And yet, criminals do it anyway. So, would universal background checks stop crime? Will criminals self-report their transactions like is required under universal background checks?
No.
Of course not. They already don't, because they are criminals, and there is no incentive to do so, and no way to catch them if they don't. What about closing the so-called gun show loophole? Well, the truth is, if you go to a gun show and buy from a licensed dealers, you already have to go through a background check just like if you were buying a gun from a retail store. There is no special legal treatment of gun shows. It's a myth. And let's look at the number of criminals who use weapons bought at a gun show.
Check this out.
Turns out less than 1% of criminals who used a gun in a crime
1%.
bought the weapon from a gun show. So where do criminals get their weapons? The majority of criminals, 56%, who used firearms in a crime, stole them or got them from the black market.
That's not a surprise, Steve Kerr. He has to know this already, that criminals are not going to buy their guns legally. They're going to steal them or get them on the black market.
In Houston, where I'm from, a local news station compiled data on Houston murders. 63% of the criminals said the gun they used was stolen. So what would stop gun violence? A number of things. Increasing the penalties on straw buyers, for one. These are the ones who buy guns for the purpose of transferring them knowingly to criminals. What about increasing the penalties for those who steal from licensed FFL dealers? And let's make sure that NICS, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, is regularly updated with information from state, local, and federal law enforcement so we can keep guns out of the hands of known criminals. Those are all bills Republicans have offered, but we're not voting on those bills that would actually address gun violence.
Okay. So there you have it, guys. Steve Kerr. The man is out of his mind. He is a complete and utter leftist. Now, my solution is, and me being in Texas, we're an open carry state. We have constitutional carry. I say this, allow the teachers to actually have weapons. Every single teacher, if they want to have a weapon, let them have a weapon in the classroom around them. Just about all of these schools have police officers, have them armed as well. I'm willing to bet, guys, that you would actually see a decrease in this stuff. You would. But, you know, a guy like Steve Kerr, he doesn't want the law-abiding citizen to even have weapons. Folks, they're just trying to make it harder for you, the law-abiding citizen, to carry a weapon. That's what Steve Kerr wants. He doesn't want to address the actual problem of stopping criminals. Wow, guys. And you know what? It's sad that I actually have to talk about this on the sports channel. This is almost something that really should be on the network channel. But it happened because an NBA coach mentioned this before the game. And we talked about Steve Kerr before, man. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.